Hannah didn't know if it was courage or attraction, but she couldn't pull away. All she could think about was him. A single, piercing gaze made the world disappear, leaving only her pounding heart. He smiled, and something inside her stirred without warning, and in that moment, everything changed forever. The building towered over her as she stepped inside, glass walls reflecting the sunlight. Her heart was racing, hands slightly trembling as she held her resume tight. She tried to convince herself it was just another job, nothing special, but deep down, she knew this day would change everything. She had no idea that Dominic, the man everyone whispered about, was waiting for her. The lobby felt massive, filled with people who seemed to own the world. Women in heels passed confidently, men spoke rapidly on their phones, all energy and authority. Every detail screamed power, and Hannah felt small in comparison. When the elevator doors opened, her stomach twisted with nerves she couldn't explain. Each number that lit up made her heart pound faster. She stepped out on the top floor, her legs shaky, unsure if she could face him. Dominic's office stretched wider than her apartment, floor-to-ceiling windows revealing the city below. And there he was, leaning against his desk, sharp and commanding, a presence that filled the room. Dark suit, sharp jawline, eyes that seemed to see everything. He didn't need to smile. His presence was enough to take her breath away. "So, you're the one they sent me," he said, voice low and confident, carrying weight in every word. Hannah nodded, trying not to seem like she was about to collapse. He studied her carefully, testing her silently, his gaze sharp and unyielding. The questions started simple, but grew sharper like tiny challenges with every sentence. It wasn't just an interview. It felt like stepping onto a battlefield, and she wanted to survive. When it finally ended, he closed the folder with her name and said, "You'll start tomorrow." Those words spun her world upside down, leaving her legs weak and her heart racing. Walking out, she felt a shift inside herself, as if life had split into before and after. This wasn't just a job anymore. Something about him pulled her in, something she couldn't name yet. The next morning, she woke early, rehearsing what to say, how to act, trying to steady herself. Standing again in front of the glass tower, she realized her body still trembled with anticipation. The receptionist knew her name, and that only made her nerves worse. "Mr. Carter is waiting," the woman said, guiding her toward the private elevator. She whispered to herself, "Don't mess this up," hoping she could survive her first day in his world. Hannah woke up before the sun, her mind racing with everything she would need to do. She tried to rehearse what she would say, how she would move, how she would act. Today wasn't just another day. It felt like stepping into a lion's den. Her stomach twisted with nerves, but curiosity pushed her forward. Who was Dominic beyond the sharp suits and commanding presence? The elevator hummed softly as it carried her upward, mirrored walls reflecting her anxious expression. She whispered to herself, "Don't mess this up," hoping she could handle whatever awaited at the top. The receptionist had already announced her arrival, which only made her more nervous. Each step toward his office felt heavier, each breath measured. She knew this day could change everything. When the doors opened, she found him standing by the window, phone in hand, commanding the room with his voice. For a moment, she just watched him, mesmerized by how effortlessly he controlled everything around him. When he finally noticed her, he ended the call without a word. His eyes locked on hers, and the silence made her heart skip. "You're late," he said, though her watch said otherwise. She wanted to defend herself, to explain, but something inside her told her not to. Instead, she squared her shoulders and met his gaze, even though it burned. He smirked, almost enjoying the small challenge. "Good," he said finally. "You're not weak. I'll need that." Then he handed her a stack of files, pages full of names and numbers she barely recognized. Her first test had begun. The day blurred as she ran between deadlines she struggled to understand, following his sharp, precise instructions. Every time she thought she was catching up, he was already 3 steps ahead. Yet, amidst the chaos, she felt a strange pull, a connection she couldn't explain. It was dangerous, she knew, but it felt real. Something was shifting between them, subtle yet undeniable. By the evening, the office emptied, leaving just the two of them surrounded by stacks of files. She caught him staring at the city lights, his expression softer than she had ever seen him. For a moment, he seemed almost lonely. Words got stuck in her throat, but his eyes held a secret she wasn't supposed to see. "Why are you still here?" he asked quietly. She held the papers like a shield. "Because you asked me to stay," she replied. For the first time, she realized he wasn't untouchable.
The next morning felt different, charged with something unspoken between them. He still gave orders, precise and sharp, but there was a softness in his eyes when he thought she wasn't looking. Hannah tried to ignore it, reminding herself this was dangerous territory. Yet, every time their eyes met, her defenses crumbled a little more. And deep down, she could feel that his walls were falling too. That afternoon, a storm rolled over the city, lightning flashing against the skyscraper windows. The office emptied quickly, but Dominic insisted on staying late to finish a deal. She stayed too, typing as the rain pounded against the glass. When the power flickered, half the office went dark, and for the first time, the world outside seemed to disappear. It was just the two of them, alone in the storm. He looked up from his papers, eyes locking onto hers in the dim light. "You should go home," he said, but the usual sharpness in his voice was gone. Her chest tightened. She shook her head softly, whispering, "Not until you do." His lips curved slightly, a ghost of a smile, but it made her heart stumble. The silence between them grew thick, carrying everything they neither dared to say. Hannah's hands trembled on the keyboard, pretending to work, yet she could feel him watching every move. She wanted to ask why he worked so late, what haunted him, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she stayed close enough to feel the storm inside him, even if she couldn't name it yet. Every glance, every subtle gesture pulled her in deeper. Something dangerous was forming, and neither of them wanted to admit it. By the time the lights came back, he stood and walked past her without a word, his scent lingering like a question she couldn't answer. Her heart still raced, realizing something inside her had shifted forever. What she didn't know was that his secrets were darker than she imagined. Soon, they would change both of their lives in ways she couldn't foresee. Working for him was no longer just a job. It was a collision course. Every glance carried weight. Every silence screamed louder than words. Yet there was a shadow in his eyes she couldn't ignore, a fragility he tried to hide from the world. One late night, while organizing files, she noticed a folder tucked away in his drawer. Curiosity overcame caution, and when she opened it, her heart froze. Hannah's hands shook as she flipped through the folder, unable to believe what she was seeing. Medical reports, test results, words she recognized enough to understand the truth. Cancer. Her chest tightened and she could barely breathe. She barely had time to close the folder before his voice filled the room. "What are you doing?" Dominic's tone was sharp, but his eyes betrayed him. For a moment, she saw something she had never seen before. Fear, raw and real. Her throat constricted as she whispered, "You're sick." The silence that followed seemed endless, as if the whole world had stopped spinning. He turned away, gripping the edge of his desk so tightly that his knuckles whitened. "It's nothing you need to worry about," he muttered, voice cracking at the edges. Her heart ached, not just from shock, but from seeing someone so strong finally break. In that moment, she realized the truth. He wasn't just her boss anymore. Dominic had become someone she couldn't let go of. She wanted to reach for him, to say something, but the words refused to come. Instead, they stood in silence, two people caught between duty and something much deeper. After that night, everything between them changed. He no longer hid his weakness, at least not from her. Some mornings he arrived pale, steps slower, yet his eyes still burned with determination. She wanted to protect him, though she knew he would never allow it. He was a man who fought battles in silence, even when his body betrayed him. One evening, when the office was empty, he finally let his guard down. He confessed, "I don't have much time," voice breaking for the first time. Her chest tightened as she reached for his hand without thinking. For a moment, he didn't pull away. His skin was warm, fragile, trembling under her touch. "Then let's make every second count," she whispered, knowing she was already too far gone. From that moment on, their lives changed completely. Coffee breaks turned into stolen smiles. Late nights became quiet conversations about life, dreams, and fears. She learned he loved jazz, hated small talk, and secretly read poetry when no one was watching. Every detail felt like a treasure, even if borrowed time. Loving him was beautiful but painful. Each moment carried the weight of what they could not ignore.
Every laugh, every smile carried the weight of his illness, reminding Hannah that time was cruel. She tried to lose herself in the moments they shared, but the reality always returned. Each faltering step he took, each pale morning, made her heart ache. Yet she refused to let go. If love had an expiration date, she would fight to make every second unforgettable. He was no longer just her boss. He had become her heart, her reason, her breaking point. The line between care and desire blurred with every glance, every accidental touch. Hannah could feel the depth of their connection growing, dangerous yet undeniable. And though she knew the hardest moments were still to come, she clung to every second with him. One morning, the sunlight filtered softly through the blinds, gentle yet knowing of what the day would bring. He sat on the edge of the bed, frail but determined, holding her hand as if letting go were impossible. "I want today to feel like forever," he whispered, voice low and shaky. She nodded, tears threatening, fully aware that every moment counted. Each heartbeat felt sacred, each second a gift they couldn't waste. They spent the morning living in their own world, talking about dreams they had never shared. He asked her to read poetry, his favorite jazz playing softly in the background. Hannah laughed through her tears as he tried to dance slowly, clinging to her as if they could escape time. The room was small, but it felt like a universe created just for them. Every moment was theirs, stolen from the cruel clock that measured his days. Lunch was quiet, simple, intimate, sandwiches and tea shared in silence, yet every look spoke volumes. He wanted to know everything about her, and even in weakness his curiosity shone. Each story, each smile became etched in memory like a tattoo on her heart. Hannah realized that even in fragility, love could be fierce and powerful. Every small gesture held monumental weight, and she cherished them all. By the afternoon, exhaustion settled over him, yet he refused to rest completely. "Promise me," he said, holding her hands tightly. "Promise you'll live and keep loving even when I'm gone." Her throat tightened, but she nodded, unable to speak. Even as shadows crept closer, he asked her to savor small joys, play his favorite jazz, dance slowly, live fully. Hannah understood the depth of his request. He wanted to leave her with hope, even as his time slipped away. That evening, he requested she read to him again from books he loved but had never finished. Her voice trembled, trying to fill the room with warmth, as if words could protect him from the inevitable. He listened with eyes half closed,
faint smiles appearing with every sentence. Hannah clung to every moment, knowing this might be the last closeness. Each word became a bridge between them, fragile yet vital. Finally, he whispered, "Thank you for being my world, for loving me completely." She held his hand, trembling, unable to speak. Fear pressed down on her like a storm, yet she stayed, grounding him in her presence. His love had been her anchor, and now she was anchoring him through every breath he had left. The room was silent, but the love between them echoed louder than any words. As the night deepened, his hand slipped from hers, cold and still. She held him close, whispering words he could no longer hear, pouring all her love into the final embrace. Though the room was quiet, their shared love left a lasting resonance. This was the end of their time together, yet the beginning of memories that would never fade. Every heartbeat, every touch would live on in her forever. The house felt empty, too quiet, as if it had already forgotten him. She wandered from room to room, touching the places where his presence lingered, the desk, the couch, the coffee mugs he left behind. Every corner held a memory, a laugh, a whisper, a moment of life shared together. Her heart ached, raw and heavy, yet she clung to the echoes of him as if they could keep him near. She found his old folders still neatly stacked and ran her fingers over the edges, remembering the man who commanded the world, yet made her feel both fragile and alive. His last words, the promises he had asked her to keep, were bittersweet daggers in her chest. Each memory cut deep, but also reminded her of the love that had defined them. Hannah realized that even in loss, love remained a guiding force. Some nights, she whispered to him, sharing her day, her fears, her hopes. And in those whispers, she felt him listening, guiding her, giving her strength. Life was quieter now, harder, but his love gave her courage. She carried his memory with her into every choice, every step, every smile. Love had ended for him, but for her, it became a legacy, a force that would never fade.
Months passed, yet his presence never left Hannah. Walking through the city, she felt his memory in the breeze, in little things he had loved. Every corner whispered of him, his laugh, his touch, the fire and fragility in his eyes. Life had moved on, but her heart remained tethered to the moments they had shared. These moments were eternal, unbroken by time. She visited their favorite places, sitting quietly and remembering. The jazz bar where they had danced, the park where they had stolen kisses, the office that had felt like their universe. Each location held pieces of him, fragments of a life that had been theirs. Hannah closed her eyes and imagined his hand in hers, guiding her, reminding her of the love that had anchored her. Even in loss, he gave her strength. At night, she kept a journal of their memories. Every page was a tribute to him. Their stories, their laughter, their whispered promises. Each word helped her carry him forward, a way to live while honoring the love that had defined her. The pain of his absence was sharp, yet writing became a healing ritual. Love, she realized, could endure beyond the body, existing in memory and heart. His life had ended, but the impact of it and of them would never fade. Love like theirs did not vanish. It transformed. It became a part of her, woven into every decision, every emotion, every heartbeat. She carried his lessons, his laughter, his dreams, making them her own. Hannah understood that true love leaves traces that time cannot erase. She promised herself to live fully, to laugh, to love again, keeping his memory alive in every step. And in doing so, she felt him beside her in small ways, every day. Their story had an ending, yes, but it also had a legacy, a reminder that love, even after loss, can guide and strengthen us. Hannah's heart had been broken, yet it carried hope, shaped by the love they had shared. To everyone listening, she wanted to say, cherish every moment, hold those you love close, and never take a single second for granted. Love is fragile, fleeting, yet eternal. Some stories live on forever, not just in memory, but in the heart and soul of those who carry them. And hers carried him, always. The city had moved on, but Hannah's heart remained in the spaces they had shared. Every street corner, every cafe, every small detail reminded him of her. She could almost hear his voice in the rustle of leaves, feel his hand brushing hers in a crowd. The world felt both empty and full at once, carrying his absence, yet echoing his presence. It was a strange comfort, painful yet sustaining. She often found herself smiling at little things, remembering how he would tease her, the soft glances, the laughter shared over trivial moments. Every memory became a small act of rebellion against the grief that threatened to swallow her. In the quiet of her apartment, she played their favorite jazz records, letting the melodies fill the spaces where he used to be. Music became a bridge to him, each note a reminder of what they had shared. Some evenings, Hannah wandered through the places they had dreamed of visiting together. She carried his memory as if it were a tangible presence, guiding her steps, shaping her actions. Each visit became a promise to herself, a way to honor the love they had fought for. Even in his absence, he continued to teach her, inspire her, and remind her of the beauty in life. Her friends noticed a change in her, a quiet strength, a sense of purpose that had grown from love and loss. Hannah understood now that grief and love were intertwined, each giving meaning to the other. The pain of losing him had opened her heart to living fully, to embracing every emotion and every fleeting moment. Life had a rhythm, and she was learning to dance to it, carrying him in every step. At night, she continued her journal, filling it with memories, reflections, and small lessons learned from their time together. Each word was a way to keep him alive, a conversation that never ended. Hannah knew that love was not limited to presence. It was something that endured, something that could shape a lifetime. Her heart, though scarred, was fuller than before. Through it all, she realized the truth. Love never truly dies. It transforms, becomes a part of who we are, and guides us even when the person we loved is gone. Hannah walked forward, carrying both the pain and the beauty of what they had shared. And though the world moved on around her, she held on to him, always.
Even as months passed, Hannah never stopped feeling Dominic's presence in her life. Each morning, the sun seemed to remind her of him, its warmth like a quiet whisper of his memory. She carried him in the little things, his favorite coffee, the scent of rain on the streets, the rhythm of jazz that had once filled their evenings. Every step she took was a step with him, even if only in her heart. Hannah often revisited their favorite spots, letting memories wash over her. The jazz bar, the quiet park, the office that had felt like their private universe, all held fragments of him. She imagined him there, smiling, teasing, loving her in ways that had left permanent marks on her soul. These visits became sacred rituals, a way to connect with him across the gap of absence. Friends and strangers alike noticed the shift in her. Hannah walked with a subtle strength,
a quiet confidence born from love that had been deep and true. Though the ache of missing him never faded, it was accompanied by gratitude for the time they had, for the love they shared, and for the lessons he had left behind. She understood now that grief and joy could coexist, shaping her into someone stronger. In the evenings, she would write letters to him, never intending to send them. Words flowed onto the page, recounting her days, her dreams, her fears, and her triumphs. Each letter was a conversation, a way to keep him near, to honor the life they had built together. Writing became a sanctuary, a bridge to the love that had defined her. Hannah also allowed herself small joys, moments of living fully as he had asked her to do. She laughed without guilt, danced without fear, and even found herself opening her heart again, cautiously. Each moment became a tribute to him, a way of saying that love endured beyond life, beyond loss, beyond the limits of time. Through it all, she realized something profound. The love she had shared with Dominic was eternal. It existed in memory, in action, in choices she made each day. Hannah's heart, though shaped by loss, had become a vessel for his presence. And in that presence, she found strength, courage, and the quiet comfort that love, even when gone, never truly leaves. Time passed, yet Hannah carried Dominic with her in everything she did. Each morning, the city whispered his presence, the sunlight on the streets, the rhythm of passing footsteps, the familiar sense that once reminded her of him. She found comfort in small details, knowing that love could endure in memory, guiding her even when he was gone. Hannah continued her quiet rituals, visiting the places they had cherished together. Each visit brought fragments of him back, their laughter echoing in the corners of the jazz bar, the memory of their hands brushing in the park, the lingering sense of connection in the office. Every detail became sacred, a thread linking past and present, love and memory. Her journal remained her sanctuary. Each page recounted moments of joy, sorrow, and reflection, capturing the essence of their shared life. Writing allowed her to speak to him again, to honor his presence and keep their love alive. The words became a testament to the power of connection, of a bond that death could not erase. Even in solitude, Hannah discovered strength. She laughed, she cried, she lived fully, carrying him in her choices and actions. Each day was a testament to the promises he had asked her to keep, to love, to embrace life, and to find joy despite the weight of loss. In doing so, she honored him, and in honoring him, she found herself. Sometimes she danced alone to their favorite jazz records, imagining him in her arms, feeling the warmth of his presence in memory. Tears mingled with smiles, grief intertwined with gratitude. Each step was a celebration of the love that had defined her, a quiet rebellion against the cruelty of time. Through it all, Hannah realized the truth she had been learning all along. Love never truly dies. It transforms, lingers, and guides those who remain. Dominic's life had ended, but the love they shared had become a part of her, shaping her heart and her path forever. She had learned that even in loss, love endures.
Hannah woke up to a quiet morning, the sunlight gentle, almost reverent. She sat by the window, remembering Dominic, feeling the warmth of his memory in every corner of her world. Though he was gone, she could still sense him guiding her, reminding her to live fully, to love without fear, and to cherish each moment. His presence had become a part of her, eternal and unbreakable. She spent the day visiting their favorite places one last time, letting memories wash over her. The jazz bar, the park, the office, they all held echoes